In the vast expanse of the galaxy, Earth is a mere speck, a forgotten world lost in the corner of the cosmos, where nothing extraordinary has ever happened, no grand civilizations, no mighty empires or fleets of starships. It is a quiet world, untouched by the struggles of the more powerful beings that roam the stars. But even in the darkest corners of space, things are not always what they seem. For millennia, Earth has been overlooked by the galactic powers far above it. The alien empires that rule with their vast fleets and advanced technologies have no interest in this little planet that seems so insignificant, and beneath them their rulers never gave a second thought to the humans living below the surface of this humble world. But that is all about to change. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, strange things have begun to stir while the rest of the planet sleeps. The most unexpected events are taking place all over the world. Humans are beginning to experience strange new abilities, powers that have never been seen before, ones that make them stronger, faster, more intelligent, and more adaptable than they ever were before. This sudden surge in human potential is a mystery to everyone, and no one understands where these abilities are coming from. It starts with subtle signs, small things. At first, someone lifts a heavy object with ease. Someone solves a complex problem in mere seconds. The feeling of something waking up in the human mind and body spreads quickly as more and more people begin to unlock powers they never knew they had. The world starts to take notice, but none of them realize the true significance of what is happening. Not yet. This new phenomenon is not a random occurrence. It is the result of something far deeper and ancient, buried beneath the Earth's crust, something that has lain dormant for eons, waiting for the right moment to awaken. As humans discover their newfound strength, their minds begin to expand, unlocking the hidden potential that was once sealed away. This is the beginning of a great transformation, and no one understands the full scope of what this means for the future of humanity. As news of these strange occurrences spreads, some begin to take notice of the growing power of the human race, while others dismiss it as nothing more than a passing curiosity. But there are whispers in the shadows, those who understand that the power coursing through Earth's population is no accident. It was meant to happen, and it is a force that could change the fate of the galaxy forever. In secret, the leaders of the world begin to realize that they are not the only ones who are aware of the change that is unfolding. The galaxy's most powerful alien factions have noticed the subtle shift in humanity's evolution. They know that a force unlike anything they have encountered is beginning to take shape on a small planet far from the reach of their empire, and they are not pleased. As humans grapple with the discovery of their new powers, they begin to question everything they once knew about themselves, about their place in the universe, and about the alien powers who have ignored them for so long. The stage is set, and the first spark of resistance is ignited in the hearts of those who see the potential for something far greater than they ever imagined. The galaxy will soon know what it means to face the unexpected, the unthinkable. The rise of humanity, the forgotten planet, is about to show the universe just what it is truly capable of. As humans began to understand the extent of their newfound abilities, a sense of unity spread across the world like wildfire. No longer divided by borders or nations, the people of Earth found common ground in their shared experience. The sudden surge of power awakened something deeper within them, a long-forgotten strength that had always been hidden beneath the surface, and now it was impossible to ignore. They no longer felt like mere pawns in the vast cosmic chessboard of alien empires. They were something more, something worthy of notice. At the heart of this awakening stood a group of individuals who recognized the potential for something greater than just personal power. They saw the chance to forge a new future for their world and for the galaxy. The leaders of Earth's most brilliant minds, scientists, soldiers, strategists, and visionaries, came together in secret. Their goal was to harness the power of humanity's awakening and build an organized force capable of defending their planet from the growing interest of alien empires that now watched Earth with growing suspicion. These leaders came to be known as the Human Legion. Their formation was a quiet affair, no grand declarations, no speeches to the masses, just a small group of dedicated individuals determined to protect their world and seize the future for themselves. They knew the galaxy was not kind to the weak, and Earth had never been anything but weak in the eyes of the great empires. But that would change. They would not remain hidden in the shadows any longer. The human legion began to quietly gather resources as the world's technology began to advance at an incredible rate. With the newfound abilities of the human population came the ability to innovate and create at speeds never before possible. New weapons, new ships, new tools to fight back against the alien threats that had long ignored them. Their resources were scarce, but their ingenuity was limitless. They worked tirelessly in secret, developing new technologies based on both human potential and stolen alien data gathered from previous encounters with extraterrestrial visitors. But not everyone agreed with the Legion's plans. Some feared the rise of humanity would only lead to greater conflict and destruction. The galaxy was already teeming with powerful factions, and humanity's sudden emergence could only be seen as a threat by those who had dominated for so long. Others believed that Earth should remain hidden, safe in its obscurity, content with what little it had, while the stars remained out of reach. The idea of challenging the established order was seen as foolish by those who had grown comfortable in their position. Yet despite the opposition the human legion pushed forward, they knew they had no choice. If they were to survive in the galaxy, they would need to stand up and show their strength. They would need to take the first step in making the galaxy aware that Earth was not to be underestimated, and that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The first test of their growing power came sooner than expected. A chance encounter with a small alien ship passing through Earth's orbit led to the discovery of an alien communications relay station hidden near the planet. The Legion saw an opportunity to strike a blow against the galactic powers that watched them, and a bold plan was set in motion. This would be their moment to prove that humanity was no longer weak, no longer hidden in the shadows. In the dead of night, the first raid was launched, a small but effective strike against the alien relay station. With their newly developed weapons and coordinated strategies, the human legion tore through the station's defenses swiftly and decisively, sending a clear message to the galaxy that humanity was no longer a forgotten planet waiting to be ignored. The raid was a success, and the spark of rebellion that had once only flickered in the hearts of a few now ignited into a roaring fire of defiance. The human legion had made its first move, and there would be no turning back. The success of the raid sent shockwaves through the galaxy. No one had expected humanity to strike so decisively so early. The alien empire that controlled the communications relay was quick to react, believing it to be a fluke. They underestimated the human legion's resolve and ingenuity, thinking that such a small force could never pose a real threat to their vast fleets. But humanity was playing a different game, one based on creativity and adaptability rather than sheer force and power. The human legion knew that they couldn't fight their enemies head-on, not yet. Their forces were still too small and their technology too new, but they had something far more valuable. They had the element of surprise and the ability to think outside the box. Where the alien fleets relied on overwhelming strength, the Legion relied on strategy and innovation. They understood their weaknesses and used them to their advantage. Their next move was bold, almost reckless in its ambition. They learned of an alien warlord's fleet moving through a nearby sector. The fleet was massive and well guarded, and it seemed like an impossible target for a force as small as the human legion. But this would be their moment to show the galaxy that they were a force that could not be ignored. The Legion decided to launch a daring assault against the warlord's flagship, knowing that the success or failure of this mission would shape humanity's future in the galaxy. Commander V, the leader of the human legion, was a master strategist who had been planning this operation for weeks. She understood the risks, but also recognized the importance of taking a bold step forward. If humanity was to have any chance of surviving in this vast and dangerous galaxy, the plan was simple: strike fast, strike hard, and strike where the enemy least expected them. With a small fleet of modified ships and a crack team of legionnaires, the assault began. They infiltrated the warlord's fleet under the cover of darkness, using stealth technology and human ingenuity to bypass enemy sensors and defenses. When the moment was right, they struck without warning, using every advantage they had gained from their earlier raids and alien technology at their disposal. The human legion hit the warlord's flagship with a series of precision strikes that disabled its weapon systems and crippled its engines. The battle was chaos and all-out brawl between the Legion and the alien forces. The warlord's fleet responded quickly, but they were thrown off balance by the unexpected ferocity of the human assault. Despite being outgunned and outnumbered, the Legion fought with a tenacity and ingenuity that the aliens had never seen before. Human soldiers used their enhanced abilities to overpower their alien counterparts, while the ships launched coordinated attacks that disrupted the alien fleet's communication and coordination. The turning point came when the warlord's flagship fell into disarray as key systems were disabled one by one and the Legion took control of the ship's command center. The battle was not over, but it was clear that the tide had turned. The Legion's unexpected victory over the warlord's fleet was a stunning blow to the alien empires, who had never taken humanity seriously. Until now, the humans had proven that they were not just another weak species to be crushed beneath the heel of alien power, but a force capable of altering the balance of the galaxy itself. By the time the battle ended, the warlord's fleet was in retreat, and the human Legion had secured their first major victory against a galactic power. The galaxy would never again underestimate the potential of humanity. Their impossible victory became a symbol of hope for the oppressed species of the galaxy and a terrifying reminder to the alien empires that the rise of humanity could no longer be ignored. The victory over the warlord's fleet sent ripples across the galaxy. Even the most powerful alien empires were forced to take notice. Humanity was no longer the forgotten species on the fringe of space. It had become a rising power, one that had demonstrated incredible resourcefulness and unyielding determination. In the face of overwhelming odds, the human Legion's unexpected success ignited a surge of hope across countless worlds and oppressed species who had long suffered under the heel of alien domination. Word spread fast. The galaxy's power structures were shaken as many alien factions scrambled to assess the threat posed by this new force, but they were left with few answers. Humanity had moved quickly and decisively, catching them off guard, and now their eyes were fixed on the growing influence of the human Legion, who was not content to rest on their laurels, but instead pushed forward with relentless ambition. The Legion's forces grew exponentially following their victory, as more and more humans and alien species who had been enslaved or subjugated by the empires flocked to their banner. The human Legion was not only a symbol of resistance, but a beacon of hope for those who had long believed freedom was a distant dream. What had once been a small group of idealists and rebels now became a massive military and political force that spanned multiple star systems. Earth's technological advancements also skyrocketed as humanity's hidden potential continued to awaken. With every passing day, new breakthroughs emerged in weapons research, energy production, and space travel. The Legion's engineers began reverse engineering alien technology, incorporating it into their own ships, weapons, and defense systems, creating a powerful hybrid of human innovation and alien ingenuity that made their forces even more formidable. The human Legion began to launch coordinated strikes against more strategic alien targets. Gathering momentum with each victory, they attacked supply lines, military bases, and research stations, crippling the alien empire's infrastructure and sending shockwaves through the galactic powers who had once assumed their reign would last for eternity. Each mission was a calculated risk, but every time humanity succeeded, it made their enemies weaker and more vulnerable. The galaxy's ruling factions were becoming increasingly divided as they argued over how to deal with the rising human threat. Some believed a full-scale war should be waged to crush humanity before it could grow too powerful. Others feared that any action taken against Earth would provoke a response far stronger than anticipated. No one could have predicted how quickly the human Legion would rise, and now they were stuck in a dilemma. The galaxy's great powers had underestimated a species they once viewed as insignificant, and now they had to figure out how to stop the surge before it was too late. On Earth, the momentum only continued to build. Commander V and the leaders of the human Legion worked tirelessly to expand their influence, forging alliances with alien species who were eager to break free from their oppressors. Some of these species had once served the alien empires as soldiers or workers, and now they were willing to fight alongside humanity for the freedom they had never known. The Legion's message spread like wildfire. Humanity would fight for the oppressed and lead the galaxy into a new era of peace and unity. The surge of power and influence was undeniable. The galaxy had never seen anything like it before, and the Human Legion was becoming a force that even the most advanced empires could no longer ignore. In the span of just a few months, the fate of the galaxy was shifting. Humanity had become the axis around which the future of the universe would turn. And with each passing day, the Human Legion only grew stronger. The rise of humanity was too great for the galaxy's most powerful empires to ignore any longer, and as the Human Legion's influence continued to expand, the ruling alien factions could no longer deny the growing threat they faced. They had underestimated humanity's resilience, creativity, and speed. And now they knew that their continued dominance in the galaxy was no longer assured. The winds of change had begun to blow, and they had to act quickly or risk losing everything. In a desperate bid to crush the Human Legion before it could grow any more powerful, the Galactic empires formed an unprecedented alliance, bringing together the most fearsome and advanced alien fleets in the galaxy. Their collective military might was overwhelming, and they prepared to make an example of humanity once and for all with a series of coordinated strikes aimed directly at Earth and the Legion's most strategic strongholds. Their first move was swift and brutal. Entire fleets descended on Earth's orbit without warning, their ships swarming across the skies like locusts with advanced weapons designed to obliterate entire cities and military installations. The Human Legion's forces were still growing, but they were not yet powerful enough to withstand the full might of such a united front. They had no choice but to fight back with everything they had. Commander V knew this would be the ultimate test humanity had faced to date, and she refused to let Earth fall to the invaders. She mobilized the Legion's forces and prepared for the coming onslaught, but the odds were staggering. Even with their new technologies and enhanced abilities, the Legion was facing enemies with far superior numbers and firepower. The stakes had never been higher, and Commander V could only hope that humanity's ingenuity and determination would be enough to hold the line. The battle that followed was unlike anything humanity had ever seen before. Entire cities were reduced to rubble as alien ships bombarded the surface of Earth with devastating weapons. But despite the overwhelming odds, the Human Legion fought back fiercely. They used guerrilla tactics to strike at key alien command centers and weapon stations, disrupting their coordination and causing chaos within the enemy ranks. Humanity's new abilities played a crucial role in turning the tide of the battle, as Legionnaires used their enhanced strength and agility to outmaneuver the alien forces on the ground, while Legion engineers hacked into enemy communications and weapon systems to weaken their forces from within. It was a battle of wits as much as of might, as the Human Legion used every advantage they had gained through their innovation and strategy to stay one step ahead of the enemy. But despite their fierce resistance, the alien alliance had the upper hand. They unleashed their ultimate weapon, a massive fleet of dreadnought-class ships that appeared from the shadows of deep space. Their sheer size and firepower made them nearly indestructible, and it seemed that no force in the galaxy could stand against them. The dreadnoughts began their final assault on Earth, targeting key military and civilian locations with pinpoint precision in an attempt to break the Human Legion's resolve. The war seemed as though it might be lost, but in the depths of the Legion's command center, something unexpected happened. The Legion scientists had been working on a secret weapon, one that had been in development for months, a weapon capable of matching the destructive power of the alien dreadnoughts. The weapon was a massive energy cannon, capable of piercing the shields of the alien ships and crippling their enormous fleets. But its construction had been perilous and its power untested. With Earth's survival on the line, the weapon was completed just in time. As the dreadnoughts closed in on the planet, Commander V made the call to fire it. The cannon unleashed a torrent of energy that rocked the alien fleet to its core, and for the first time since the conflict began, the alien forces were forced to retreat. The dreadnoughts were not invincible after all, and humanity had shown them that even the mightiest of empires could be defeated. The battle was far from over, but it was clear that the Human Legion had proven their resilience. In the face of overwhelming odds, the enemy had struck hard, but humanity had struck back even harder, and now the galaxy would know that the rise of the Human Legion was not a passing storm, but a force that had come to stay. The retreat of the alien fleets marked only the beginning of a new and even more dangerous phase in the conflict with the human legion. The alien alliance had suffered a significant blow, but they were far from defeated. The humiliation they had experienced would not be tolerated, and they vowed to make humanity pay for the wounds they had inflicted on their empires. Despite the retreat, the galaxy's most powerful factions began to regroup and rearm, preparing for an all-out war that would determine the fate of the galaxy once and for all. The response from the alien empires was swift and relentless. They amassed a coalition of fleets larger than anything humanity had ever encountered before. Their combined military might was beyond comprehension. Their dreadnoughts were rebuilt and reinforced, their weaponry enhanced, and their tactics refined. The galaxy was now on the brink of an all-consuming war, one that would echo through the stars for generations to come. But the human legion was not one to back down from a fight, and despite the overwhelming odds they had faced before, they knew that they had no choice but to stand and fight if humanity was to survive, and if the galaxy was to have any hope of avoiding the tyranny of the alien empires. They would have to push forward with everything they had, even if the cost was unimaginable. Commander V stood before her people in the command center of the Legion's flagship, the hope of humanity resting on her shoulders. She had led them through so many battles already, but this one would be different. This would not be a series of skirmishes or raids. This would be the defining battle of the war, the Great War of the Stars. She knew that to win they would need every ally they could gather and every advantage they could exploit. The human legion forged alliances with every species they could find, those who had been oppressed by the alien empires for centuries, and those who saw the potential in humanity's rise. Together, they formed a coalition of free peoples, determined to overthrow the alien tyrants and reshape the galaxy for the better. The forces they had gathered were not as numerous or as powerful as their enemies, but their unity, their shared vision of a free galaxy, was a strength that could not be measured in sheer numbers. The battles that followed were fierce beyond imagining. Entire fleets clashed in the depths of space as humanity's forces fought alongside their new allies. The skies above countless worlds became battlegrounds as massive space stations and warships engaged in brutal dogfights that lit up the heavens. The ground wars were just as intense as soldiers from every species fought side by side against the alien invaders. Some worlds were lost, some were saved, but the tide of battle continued to shift with every passing day. It was not just the technology that made humanity a formidable force, but the sheer willpower that flowed through their veins, their belief in the right to freedom, and their refusal to be subjugated by any empire was a force that none of the alien fleets had accounted for. The battles were no longer just about military might, they were about the very soul of the galaxy itself. The Great War raged on, and humanity's position was becoming stronger with every battle, but the cost was immense. Entire fleets were lost, entire worlds were devastated as the conflict consumed everything in its path. But as the alien empires continued their assault, they began to realize that defeating the human legion would be no simple task. Humanity was proving that their spirit could not be broken, and the galaxy was beginning to understand that the greatest war in history was only just beginning. The Great War of the Stars reached its breaking point as the galaxy's greatest empires focused all their power on the final confrontation with the human legion. After years of fighting, the stakes had never been higher, and the alien forces were determined to bring the war to a close once and for all. Their fleets were massive, their weapons unmatched, but they underestimated the most powerful weapon humanity possessed: the relentless will to survive and to rise above every challenge. The human legion knew that this would be the decisive battle, the one that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. Commander V had seen her people rise against impossible odds time and time again, but now the stakes were different. This would be the ultimate test, where victory meant the dawn of a new era, and defeat meant the end of humanity's dreams of freedom and self-determination. In the vast emptiness of space, a final battlefield was chosen, a distant system at the edge of known space, where the Legion would make their stand against the combined might of the alien fleets. The human Legion's forces were vastly outnumbered, their ships smaller and less powerful than the enemy's, but their heart and ingenuity were their greatest assets. The Legion had spent months preparing for this moment, while the enemy had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt and innovate. Commander V gave the orders for the final assault to begin. The fleet was deployed with precision as human and alien allies alike took their positions. The first wave of battle was a brutal series of skirmishes. As the two forces tested each other's strength, the alien fleets charged forward in an attempt to overwhelm the human Legion, but they were met with the kind of fierce resistance they had never experienced before. Humanity's ships moved with incredible agility, using their knowledge of alien tactics to turn the tables on their attackers. But the real turning point came when the alien forces unleashed their ultimate weapon, a colossal warship unlike anything seen before. It was a mobile fortress capable of devastating entire fleets with its massive weapons. The ship was designed to break the will of humanity and deliver the final blow to the Legion. But Commander V knew that this was the moment when everything would change. The human Legion had been working on a secret weapon of their own, a weapon so powerful that it could match the firepower of the alien dreadnoughts, but it had never been tested in battle until now. It was a high-energy cannon capable of tearing through shields and armor. With pinpoint precision, humanity had built it in secret, drawing on every scrap of alien technology they had stolen and adapted over the course of the war. As the massive warship loomed closer, the time came for the final strike. Commander V ordered the weapon to be fired with all the power it could unleash. The cannon's blast struck the alien warship with an explosive force that shattered its shields and sent it spiraling into space. The ship was crippled and its forces disbanded. In the chaos that followed, humanity seized the moment and launched a full-scale assault on the remaining alien fleets. The battle raged on for hours, with both sides giving everything they had, but the momentum was now firmly in humanity's favor. The once unassailable alien fleets were falling apart as the human Legion pushed forward with relentless precision. The strategy and creativity of the legionaries had turned the tide of the war, and in the final moments of the battle, the last remaining alien forces retreated. The victory was not without its costs. The battlefield was littered with the wreckage of both human and alien ships. Entire fleets had been lost in the struggle, but humanity had proven that it was no longer the weak underdog, but a force that could stand toe-to-toe with the greatest empires in the galaxy. The battle to end all battles had been fought, and humanity had emerged victorious. But the cost of victory was steep, and as the dust settled, Commander V knew that this was only the beginning of a new chapter for the galaxy, one where humanity would shape its own future and no longer be forced to live under the shadow of the alien empires. The galaxy had never witnessed a victory like this before. Humanity had risen from the ashes of its past to challenge the mightiest empires the stars had ever known. And now those empires lay in ruins. The Great War of the Stars had come to an end, but its aftermath would shake the future of the galaxy in ways no one could have predicted. The cost had been unimaginable: countless lives lost, entire worlds devastated. Yet in the ashes of war, something new was beginning to take shape. Commander V stood on the bridge of the flagship, gazing out at the broken fleets scattered across the battlefield. The victory had been theirs, but it had not been an easy one. The weight of the lives lost pressed heavily on her heart, but she knew that the sacrifices made would ensure a future free from tyranny for generations to come. Humanity had not only defeated the alien powers that had oppressed them for so long, they had proven to the galaxy that they were no longer a species to be ignored or underestimated. As the last of the alien fleets retreated into the void, the human Legion began to rebuild their forces and set their sights on what lay ahead. They had no intention of becoming just another empire ruling with an iron fist. Instead, they envisioned a new future, one where the people of the galaxy could govern themselves freely without fear of tyranny or oppression. The human Legion's mission had always been to protect the innocent, and now that mission would extend beyond Earth and into the very fabric of the galaxy itself. The first steps toward peace were taken swiftly. The Legion reached out to the remaining alien factions who had not participated in the war, offering them a chance to join the new order, a chance to be part of the future humanity was building. Some accepted their terms, others were wary, but in time, a new alliance of free peoples began to emerge, one that was based on mutual respect and cooperation rather than domination and control. The birth of this new coalition was not without its struggles. Old rivalries and wounds took time to heal, but as the years passed, the galaxy began to change. Once fractured species began to work together to rebuild the worlds that had been ravaged by war. Humanity's influence grew as they led the way in developing new technologies and fostering peace between alien species who had once been at each other's throats. Commander V remained at the helm of the Human Legion, guiding humanity through this new era of peace and cooperation. Though the scars of war would never fully fade, the galaxy had begun to heal, and the dream of a unified galaxy, where all peoples were free, was becoming a reality. Humanity's rise from obscurity had begun as a fight for survival, but it had transformed into a vision of hope for the future. The galaxy was forever changed, no longer ruled by the old empires, but by a new order that valued life, liberty, and cooperation. The great alien powers that once ruled with absolute authority were now just another part of the galaxy's history. Their reign had ended not by force alone, but by the undeniable truth that humanity had become the most powerful force in the galaxy, not through sheer strength, but through resilience, unity, and the will to fight for a better future. As Commander V looked out at the stars, she knew that humanity's journey was far from over. There would be new challenges ahead, new obstacles to overcome, but they were no longer alone. The galaxy was vast and full of possibilities, and humanity would shape its future alongside the many species that now called the stars home. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and the universe would never be the same again.